threshold method. So the purpose of this method is to train at or around the anaerobic threshold in order to, number one, improve the amount of power generated at threshold. Number two, increase the ability to maintain good posture, range of motion, and technique under fatigue. So what we're going to do is choose an exercise that allows you to measure power output or distance covered over time. In our case, we're using the wind bike. Miserable piece of equipment, I'm going to add. As athletes increase their endurance, they'll be able to generate greater power over a given time interval. The anaerobic threshold changes depending on the position the athlete is in. So there's one thing to note, because he's on a wind bike, you're naturally going to find that your anaerobic threshold is going to be reduced slightly. The easiest way for most athletes to determine their anaerobic threshold is to cover as much distance as possible at a steady pace for 12 minutes. The average rate over that 12 minutes will provide an estimate of the anaerobic threshold. So that's the average heart rate over that 12-minute period is going to be their anaerobic threshold. So what we're basically looking at is the point in which we're flirting without the presence of oxygen and working with the presence of oxygen. That point where basically you're almost at burnout, but you can hang on. So the general guidelines for the threshold method are: maintain a heart rate between threshold level of 5 beats per minute above threshold level for 5 to 10 minutes. In this case that we're watching here, I'm actually doing a 3-minute on, 3-minute off threshold interval. So what you're looking to do is produce as much power as possible within the anaerobic threshold range. As much power as I can generate, but consistently keep that pace for that full, in my case, 3-minute period. So you've got to maintain the same pace throughout the work period. Use a moderate resistance to get the heart rate up to the right range. So in this case with a wind bike, obviously the harder I push, the higher the resistance, so I don't need to worry about that too much. Athletes should watch their heart rate and power output during this method so that they can learn to control both as well, what's called dynamic energy control. Follow the work period, coach yourself on how to recover efficiently by manipulating breathing, pace, and facial expression. So we talk about posture, pace, and face with this one. So posture, maintaining good posture, try and relax your face. You can see on this one my face is not relaxed. And maintain a pace that you can actually maintain. So if you're squeezing your face together, tensing, you're making yourself what we call very sympathetically driven, which basically will power that heart rate through the roof and actually elevate the heart rate. You've got to think poker face when you're doing this. Try and relax your face, maintain good posture, and maintain the pace. The minute you start squeezing, heart rate's going through the roof, and you can see now as I start to hit towards burnout. This is good to see actually, because it's terrible technique. Record the distance covered and then record your heart rate 60 seconds after you've recovered as well. So how far did you go in your 3-minute period in this case, and what was your heart rate 60 seconds after the recovery? And then we can gauge that improvement over time.